Alright, Quan, so this is for you. At request of you and some other people, I'm about to show you guys how to make my dad's pork adobo. If you guys don't know the story, my dad, one hell of a cook from the Philippines. One of the reasons why I got into cooking. I mean, it's good stuff. I used to come home late at night. My dad used to make this, leave it out on the table. And, I'd come home after work, cooking, obviously, late, and it would be there on the table waiting for me. So I go in, heat it up, microwave, some rice, sit down in front of the TV, just chill out. My dad would come down, even if he was sleeping, because he'd hear me come in, and he'd sit down and eat with me. It's just one of those things. It's a really good memory of my dad. Now, he had passed away about, at this point, I think it was 2 years ago. So it's kind of important for me to keep this tradition. So this is for you, specifically Quan. I will be waiting for the response video, but this is also for everybody else who just wants to learn how to make adobo. It's not perfect. Disclaimer, everyone has their own version of adobo. This is my dad's. This is my personal favorite. This is the way I personally do it. So, whatever. If you have a different one, that's fine. I don't care. It's all good. But yeah, this is just for me, for my dad, and for the people that want to see it. So hope you guys enjoy it. Alright, Quan, so this is for you. Basically, we're making my dad's pork adobo. Right here, you can use any cut of pork. I like pork personally. It's all up to you, man. These are pork rib bones, just chopped up. Pork neck bones work best because they have a lot of flavor. Anything with a bone in it, you know what I'm saying? It's good. So this is about 2 pounds, 2-3 pounds of meat. All right. So first thing you want to do, put your vinegar in first. This is about 3 cups of vinegar right here. Pour that in. I mean, it's adobo. It's got to be vinegar, It's like almost like getting that like pickled flavor almost, but you're gonna cook it out anyway, so it doesn't matter. I use any kind of vinegar is pretty good. You can use white distilled as best. I have apple cider vinegar on hand. It's just as good. Adds a little sweetness to it. And then you want to put enough water to cover the whole thing. Right, so that's probably equal amounts would be great. It's a good amount of water. You're gonna boil that out. Garlic, bay leaves, another important stuff. Add it to it. I got about 8-9 bay leaves in there, 5 cloves of garlic. I like them a lot. I like mine pretty garlicky, so 5. Some people just put 1 or 2. A couple cracks of black pepper. You can put whole peppercorns in there. Doesn't matter. So if you're wondering why I'm not putting salt now, we put salt later with a soy sauce to add that to flavor. Alright. And just about, I'd say 2 tablespoons of oil. The reason why I put oil in is it helps in the cooking process, so when everything boils out, the water, the vinegar, it's all going to be reduced. It'll be all good, so it's going to fry a little bit in its own fat. But I add the oil just in case there isn't enough fat in there, So everything kind of melts together and starts frying a little bit. And at the very end, we'll add the soy sauce. All right. So now just turn on the stove, keep it up at high, bring it to a boil, cut it to simmer, and then we're gonna skim the scum off. All right. All right. So now that the whole thing's come to a boil, just want to turn down the heat, bring it down to simmer so things kind of just cook and melt together and kind of absorb. But you can see everything that's coming up from the meat right here, all this white stuff. A lot of the meat proteins will start coming up from the bones, and whatnot. So we call that scum. So you just want to take as much of that as possible. I mean, we're not trying to make a clear stock or anything, so it really doesn't matter that you get everything, but you kind of just don't want it all to be in there, So take out as much as you can. Some of the oil might come out, some of the fat, but that's fine. That's why we add that extra stuff in. So from time to time, just take a minute, skim that stuff off with a ladle or a spoon, whatever you have. It should be fine. And so now we're just going to gently cook this, just let it come down. Make sure all the meat's submerged. So you got to make a little bit of room, But as soon as this is done, as soon as all the liquid is gone and evaporated. Flavor of the bay leaf, the garlic, the pepper, it all melds all into the meat, you know, and it'll become a nice and tender thing. And then we're gonna finish it as soon as the liquid is pretty much gone. A lot of people like it saucy, a saucy adobo. That means you could just leave a little bit of liquid in there and add the soy sauce. I personally like mine a little bit on the drier side, so that, you know, the next day you could fry it up and make fried rice out of it or something like that. But maybe that's another video. But so like I said, I personally like mine a little bit on the drier side, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna reduce this down a little bit. Actually reduce it to au sec, which means completely dry. So when we get to that point, we'll add the soy sauce. So at this point, the pork adobo, all the liquid is evaporated. It's pretty much frying in its own oil. See, at night the meat kind of gets browned up a little bit. I like to use Silver Swan. That's my personal favorite to use for adobo. You can use other soy sauces, but I would not advise you to use anything like Kikkoman, because those are specifically used for as a dipping soy sauce. Just like any other higher end soy sauce, those are used for dipping, so that they're known for their flavor. Usually cheaper soy sauce equals better for this purpose. So I added about 6 tablespoons to this right now, and I let it fry up, let it get all together, and that's pretty much it, man. I mean, you just pour the soy sauce in after it's frying out, gets a little color. I think it used just a little bit more, so I will add a little bit more. And you just let it sit. I personally like to eat the adobo the day after. There's nothing wrong with eating it right now. It'll be just as good. But the longer you let it sit without spoiling, obviously, the better it gets, man. The next day, oh, it's just awesome stuff. So yeah, that's pork adobo. Hopefully you guys get a chance to make it, and it turns out just as good as the way my dad used to make it. Hope you guys enjoy it.